Hello, everyone, and welcome to this much-awaited and exciting moment. The Canon team has been working hard over the last couple of months to finally reveal the Canon Academy video. This is a game changer when it comes to online education in the film industry across the continent. It is the first of its kind, and I am certain it'll blow your mind as much as it did mine. So without further ado, let's give you a small teaser as to what Canon Academy video is all about. Take a look.
Hello everyone, and welcome to your very own interactive Canon Academy video. The Canon Virtual Film School has been built to allow you to explore and learn about all of the stages of production and the equipment that can be used to bring your vision to life, while gaining valuable insights and advice from industry professionals, completing assessments to test your knowledge, and receiving your Canon certificate. Start in the reception, where you will learn about Canon's history in the film industry. Visit the Canon Academy Video Theatre. This is where we will have information on some of our most recent releases, and on the main screen, you'll have access to live webinar events. Peruse our kit room. As we all know, choosing the wrong equipment for a video production can break a budget. However, selecting the right kit can transform the quality of your videos. Explore the filmmaking equipment we have here in the kit room to help you make the right decisions in bringing your stories to life. Movies are made and broken in the pre-production stage. It's an incredibly important step in making sure a production runs smoothly. Explore the production office to get access to useful document templates. Listen to industry professionals explain how they work to create budgets, communicate their visions to clients and crew, and much, much more. Production. This is where the magic happens. Explore the studio and you'll find masterclasses for both lighting and camera control. Compare camera settings and listen to industry experts as they explain their approaches in the production phase. Post-production is where we bring everything together and build our story. Navigate the post-production suites to learn about managing media, editing, color grading, and more.
Absolutely incredible. And, when you think about the potential that Africa's film industry actually has, it is really untapped. And this is certainly a game changer in terms of reaching those eager, hungry film students who want to do better and level up in the content they're creating. Speaking of content creation, let's talk about Nigeria, for instance, where it has exploded. Who doesn't know Nollywood? And we are sure that the Canon Academy video is going to touch millions across the continent. Now, speaking of online education and the continent of Africa and Canon, I'd like to introduce our first speaker for this session, Mr. Amine Djouahra, who is the Canon Central and North Africa's Sales and Marketing Director, to tell us more about this new platform. Amine, the floor is yours. Amine, you need to unmute your mic.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I was so excited that I jumped on without unmuting myself. Thank you, Victoria, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today for this much-awaited launch of the Canon Academy video. You're right, Victoria, you mentioned about the booming of the content creation and the film industry in Africa. I think Nollywood, everybody knows Nollywood, but we have now rise of new other countries where the cinema production is booming. And today, all the feedback that we get is there are so many challenges in getting knowledge for people to develop their skills in film production. And these challenges can be different. Sometimes is availability of schools, sometimes is accessibility because of cost. And the continent is big and there are lots of limitations. Canon as a leading brand in digital imaging and with the DNA of Canon, which is Owase, our corporate philosophy, which stands for living and working for the common good. Canon would like always to empower local communities. Why? Because Canon would like to capture new opportunities and give opportunity to these young talents and African who can, let's say, deliver world-class film produced locally. And what better than education to allow all these local talents to unleash their creativity. So Canon, a couple of years back, started investing in education in the African continent through programs like Miraisha program, which started in 2014 in Kenya and then expanded to other countries. We have been running other different programs because the idea is really enhance the skills and knowledge of local talents and allow all these people to get opportunities to grow in their career, and why not expand to an international level. And today's launch is a result of a very innovative idea of education, which is oriented into the e-learning, meeting latest digital technology combined in one platform where people can have full immersive experience in a 3D environment with lots of content, which is instantly available, content produced by industry experts from the international level, as well as African industry experts. This kind of mixture allowed us to give the best content for the African filmmakers. And these all under one roof with a lot of features like assessment, like scoring, like downloading data. So it is the first time this kind of platform is launched for education in the film industry. We are so proud to say that even within Canon, it is for the first time launched for the African continent. It doesn't exist anywhere else, even within Canon. I look forward for this exciting launch, and I hope you will enjoy it. Give us your feedback, participate into making this unique experience the best one. So back to you, Victoria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amine. And just painting the picture and giving us that background on the vision and the necessary innovation to make a Canon Academy video possible. Now, let's get into a discussion and talk to some of the experts in the field, just to get a take on what they think about this new platform, what it means for the film industry, what it means for the young, vibrant minds here on the continent. And what we're looking at is the future of creative and experiential digital learning shaping growth across the Pan-African film industry. That's what it's all about, right? Creating that unity across the continent. And my panelists, I'd like to invite really quickly are, of course, Mr. Amine Djouahra, who is the Sales and Marketing Director, Canon Central in North Africa. Joining us from Nairobi, Kenya, Timothy Owase, who is the Kenya Film Commission. And we have Victor Okhai from Nigeria. He's the National President of Directors Guild of Nigeria. Gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you. I think I'll begin with you, Timothy. You know, many say that e-learning is the future of education. And of course, COVID showed us that we can't ignore the digital transformation, the digital shift, if you will. Would you say that that is the case for filmmaking education as well, that we're going in that direction of e-learning?
Thank you, Victoria. First of all, I join the world in celebrating the launch of Canon Academy Video by Canon, which is a revolutionary opportunity for young filmmakers in Africa to be able to acquire digital skills as far as filmmaking is concerned. In Africa, we have so many stories that have been to be told, and I believe by Canon providing an opportunity for young filmmakers to acquire skills which will enable them to access skills that will deliver critical quality productions, I believe this will enable many young people to access an opportunity that they could never access through the ordinary process. In Kenya, for example, there are so many young people, and to that, 65% of Kenya's population is young people, those who are below the age of 35 years, which means we have many young, energetic, and ready to run in production field, youthful population. When you talk about education, digital learning is the future. And I say this because today, through digital learning, you can be able to access a lot of materials. You can be able to get experts online without having to have a structured way of accessing learning materials. And also, when you think about getting to learn through such an initiative, one can be able to learn at any time. You do not have to have an 8 to 5 learning schedule. You can be able to learn anytime you want without having to access any kind of hindrance. So by launching this, I just want to laud Canon and support the same. Working in Kenya's Kenya Film Commission CEO, I can confirm that Kenyans are looking forward to this opportunity. And this, not only is it going to serve the many young people who are in the field, but also the education institutions that will be able to tap into this opportunity for delivering of their messages, as well as the skills transfer that we all yearn to see. Back to you, Victoria.
Absolutely, absolutely, Timothy. And you mentioned young, vibrant people in the film industry. That's just across Africa because it is a young continent. And Victor, let me bring you in here for the Nigeria case. I do know that the industry there employs about 1 million workers. So huge job creation opportunity there when you think about it. But I came across an even more interesting statistic that said the earnings of the industry would go to $1 billion from all exports. And the sheer potential, when you hear those numbers of the film industry in Nigeria, how timely is the Canon Academy video now for Nigeria's future filmmakers?
I think this could never have come at a better time, just like the 5D Mark II, which revolutionized the digital filmmaking world, that really started, if you like, at least I can say for us here, the whole revolution. The timing was just perfect. COVID has taught us that, the world right now is going virtual on so many levels and so many fronts. But beyond that, just last week, one of the major telecoms just launched the 5G network. The future, whether we like it or not, and some of us can see it, the world will be operating in the midst of us. And I see Canon positioning itself, through the academy to be able to reach, a lot of people through this new universe that will be coming up, where you can sit where you are and access learning opportunities. I have been through the demo of the academy, and quite frankly, in spite of my years of experience, I can tell you that I picked up quite a few things, and I have 3 certificates to show for it very proudly. So, this is, the timing of this is just perfect for me right now, because there are a lot of young people for so many reasons. Right now, you talk about the number of people that are being employed. I can tell you that so many more. Like I said to a lot of young people in Nigeria, that there's so many. I mean, filmmaking has been so democratized, if I may use that language right now, that you're not limited to cinemas anymore. You can, and there's a convergence of medium. On, if you like, on your palm top. There's so many things that you can do right now. Age has no barrier. Any young person, can just tell their stories, and then, express themselves however they want to. Because the truth is, we're all storytellers, and people want to learn. There's so many things. And when we talk about, what Canon does is stories are not just only about feature films or, short films. They're about documentaries. They're about anything you can capture on the medium. Moving picture, and that's what, and so what the Academy has come to do is, for a lot of people in this part of the world who may not have access to those very expensive film schools, they can sit in the comfort of their homes right now, go through this well-structured, I don't know how to put it, well-prepared. They don't have measures in what I saw in the Academy. You receive these lectures, and then you're well-informed. At the end of the day, there's proof that you can do what it says you can do through those certificates, which inspire you, as a matter of fact. So people can just have that access right now and be able to make films and better films, and express themselves. But more importantly, it's going to create even more jobs, and we see that happening every day. So what it's simply going to do is, wipe away more of poverty on the continent because of the empowerment that the Academy will be making available to indigent and young and aspiring African filmmakers.
No, absolutely. And Amine, I want you to pick up off of that point that Victor just made, how the film industry is now so democratized, right? And there's a lot more access in terms of how people interact with different works of art and creation and content, rather. But for the Canon Academy video, how much of the access question does it answer when it comes to Africa? When you think about cost, other logistics, location that gets in the way of students getting that much needed education?
The idea behind such platform,
the
idea behind such platform is to ensure that, number one, we have a bigger reach to our African end users. So we do operate in 40 countries. You can imagine how difficult it is to reach all these countries. Although I'm glad to see, for example, here in the panel, we have Timothy from KFC, whom I visited in 2019 when we signed our contract with our Miraisha program, simply because Canon's journey in education was to partner with institutions, private schools, and everything. So, however, that aspect has limitation of availability of institution and infrastructures in the countries. Cost, who can afford to go to these limited seats, schools, and infrastructures? And again, can we go and operate in 40 countries as Canon as a structure? So if you combine everything, so the e-commerce and the e-learning platform was the best solution, because from efficiency and reach, we can go extremely wide and really faster. Now, you'll tell me, even for that, given the context of African, will the users have challenge when it comes to internet, devices to be used and everything? Yes, there is a challenge. However, today we can say that there is a really quite good penetration of internet and technology within Africa. And today here with us, I think we have two good examples when it comes to Nigeria internet penetration and Kenya, the way, let's say, mobile networks are developed, the way internet is developed. So I think definitely the e-learning platform will allow our users to benefit and to have access to this really professional knowledge into a much faster time than we could have done in a physical and traditional way of education. Having said that, we will continue our hybrid approach, which means the physical workshops and the local collaborations with institutions and school will definitely be supported, because again, as mentioned by our panelists here, yes, this is a solution made by Canon, which is the, let's say, the e-learning platform, but we will also make sure that all our partners who are institutions, communities, private schools will also benefit from this and will also help us to increase our reach using the e-learning platform.
Timothy, let me bring you in there. Just in terms of the gaps that exist, we're talking about the solution, which is fantastic, what Canon is bringing to the table. But let's talk a bit about the questions it's answering on the ground for filmmakers who have the issue of cost, of access, of adequate education, quality education, if you will, in the film industry. From the Kenya perspective and from the KFC perspective, not the chicken restaurant, but the Kenya Film Commission, what would you say are the gaps that needs to be filled?
Thank you. Before I tackle the gaps, allow me to appreciate the fact that the Kenyan government and many more African governments have appreciated the importance of the film industry in this continent. Why? Because not only does the film industry provide an opportunity for entertainment, but key to it is an economic activity, social being, and also promoting social cohesion within our communities. So when we talk about Canon Academy Video as a platform that has been brought by Canon to promote and support education in the sector, in Kenya to be particular, I must applaud this because we are looking forward to see an avenue where we can be able to have a high rate of access to education, which has been a challenge because most universities or education institutions that provide education that relates to film are purely private, apart from a few government entities that have now joined in through university support. Of course, this not only come out as a challenge, but we are looking at how do we see to it that we have the right policies that will support the growth of the film sector and the screen sector in general. Of course, when we talk about the screen sector, I'm not only looking at the film industry where we produce features, documentaries, series, among others, but I'm looking at the broader aspect of the creative industry where we talk about gaming, app development, among others. So when we think about what are the real challenges that are facing the industry, funding is one of the key issues that my key stakeholders have been facing, because for you to be able to produce good quality production, you need to invest, and investment without proper government support, one may not be able to access enough funding that will enable you to access or to produce high quality content that is being sought for by many demanding consumers. Of course, there is tremendous development coming out of many more channels that are now coming in to buy local content, policies that are geared towards promoting local content uptake, as well as more collaborations between African countries. This in itself will enable co-productions, and again, at a policy level, CEO Kenya Film Commission, I do believe when Africa Union introduces what we call Africa Audiovisual Cinema Commission, then this is going to help in reducing the key challenges that we've been facing. Organizations like Canon will have an easy access to many African countries as compared to accessing to a few that are somehow vibrant when it comes to the development and production of local content. So key to the question you asked, some of the key challenges, as I said, emanate or borders on skills, other than skills, access to equipment, as well as key learning areas where Canon Academy Video comes in. And I believe this is a step in the right direction that will also support many governments that are yearning to see this sector promoting the key industry of content production. Remember, most African countries rely on agriculture, which naturally rely on natural weather. But we in the film industry, we do not need to wait for the natural weather. If we need rain, we can create rain to come up with the kind of production that we need. So the opportunity here is immense as compared to the challenges. Of course, I wouldn't look at them as challenges because they are opportunities for us to actually take them up and put forth the opportunity for them to be put to the next level. Back to you, Victoria.
No, fantastic points you've raised there. And, some of the gaps that you've talked about, Timothy, when it comes to lack of skills, training, budget, equipment, none of those things actually mean that we lack in creativity or good ideas, right? And Victor, let me bring you in there, because when you look at the continent, fresh young minds, young people who have ideas they want to put out and project to the world, but just don't have that support. Just talk a little bit more about the importance of technology and creativity going hand in hand to really see the success and elevation of the film industry in Africa. Victor, I believe you're muted.
Okay.
Great, we can hear you now.
Yeah, talking about technology and creativity going hand in hand, just reminds me about, if you excuse my bringing in, what's his name now, Steve Jobs here. I mean, in the way he went about what he went, you know, we found out that he was able to identify early enough the link between creativity and technology, bringing engineering and design, you know, together. And that's what's happening today, which is why when you're developing apps or you're developing products or whatever it is you're doing, design is a very key element, technology is another. So it's a marriage of the two. And that's what's happening with our young people today. You find a situation where, you know, earlier on I talked about a convergence, you know, of medium, but also a convergence of what you call it now, a marriage of technology and creativity. You go to Silicon Valley today, that's what you see. A lot of the movies that are made today, you find that both sides have to sit and talk together. And so this is something that is, for a lot of our young people, what has been the limitation before now has been, if you like, access to things like internet, you know. I mean, before we had such enough penetration and access to technology, if you like, internet technology and all that, we didn't know the limit of how far our young people could create and how far they could go. But now that opportunities have been opened up, and now that we have, you know, digital technology at our hands, you know, particularly, you know, in the past where it was just film, with the expense and all that, it was unreachable. But right now, we see very young people doing magic with the tools available to them in their hands. So that's something that is happening, and it is actually bridging the gap. The big gap right now between the West, if you like, and this part of the world. So it is liberating us. It is helping to bridge the gap to a very large extent. And as I mentioned earlier, it's creating jobs, it's creating opportunities. And what I can say to you very soon is that because of the access that we have right now, the monopoly of the film business, you know, of storytelling, you know, through that medium that used to be that of, if you like, Hollywood, is no longer the way it is, which is why, for instance, the Nigerian industry, as you know, in terms of output, is now number 2, and that's according to UNESCO, from the number of films that are made. It just means that more people have access, more people want to tell stories, and the barriers have been broken. And so many more young and creative people are taking advantage of the technology available to tell their stories.
No, absolutely. And, you know, I mean, let me bring you in to wrap it up. I hope we could all hear Victor. I saw some comments on you not being as audible, but I heard all your points. You know, I mean, one thing that Victor's talked about was... You were earlier, but I think some participants weren't able to hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, my apologies for that. But I mean, let me wrap up with you. Just in terms of that journey that Canon wants to walk with the continent. You know, I know Canon prides itself as a company that's forward-looking. We keep saying that Africa is the future. Let's just be very serious. Africa is right now. And, you know, what would you want to say Canon has in terms of plans for future filmmakers who are wanting to make a mark? And beyond what, of course, Canon Academy Video is doing, what else can Canon offer to this budding crop of filmmakers across the continent?
Well, when Canon started operating through Canon Central North Africa in January 2016, the decision from headquarters was to have a dedicated entity exclusively for Africa, because we wanted more focus, and we were establishing our steps into the continent. But quickly we realized that if we would like to operate in the continent, we need to be present in the continent. So we started having offices and people. And then we started looking for partnerships. Partnerships with, let's say, local institutions, government institutions, private institutions, especially for education, because we believe that the education is key in our continent. It is key for the brand itself, but it is key also for the end users. So today we are here to celebrate a change and somehow a revolution in our education, while we are now investing into an e-learning platform, which is, let's say, one of the most convenient ways of learning, combining a 3D environment, which is really a kind of user-friendly environment for learners. There is a ready material to study, which means content available and accessible within the platform, which can be even downloaded for, let's say, a usage later on. And in addition to that, there is also a module which has a self-assessment where people can assess their journey within, let's say, their learning cycle. So all these features combined gives a unique experience for, let's say, filmmakers to learn and enhance their knowledge when it comes to filmmaking. Having said that, this is the first phase of the Canon Academy video. Definitely Canon will continue to operate in a hybrid mode. So we will continue developing our academy, and I will invite every user and everyone who can access to this platform, please go use it and share your feedback, because even within the platform, there is a kind of module where you can share feedback, because something we are proud at Canon is like all these strategies, all the directions we take are based on the feedback that we get from our partners and users in the market. We don't build all these directions by our own. So earlier, everyone used to tell us, how can I get access to more knowledge? How can I get access to more of your experts? We've combined everything under a nice 3D revolutionary platform, and we are back. But we know that we will need to keep it alive. We will need to enhance it. And for that, we will require the feedbacks. At the same time, for the filmmaking, which is an important direction for us, and it's a huge strategical vertical for Canon, we will definitely continue our collaborations with professional as well as institutes. Professionals, simply because we would like to support professionals to create references. You know, Timothy mentioned that let's say the production is very important to create jobs, support the economy. But beyond that, imagine all what the continent can offer: culture, landscape, tradition. All these things can be exported through videos and movies. And Canon would like to position itself as the brand which will support this kind of culture export, this kind of production, which will help the continent to achieve the position it requires. In addition to that, as I mentioned, we'll continue with our collaborations and physical events and activities to ensure that not only on the virtual level, but even physically, the filmmakers in Africa will have access to equipment, to test the equipment by themselves, and also to form their own experience on the equipment. But definitely, Victoria, as I mentioned, Canon is committed under the umbrella of our corporate philosophy, Owase, to give back to the community and to support local communities to grow the opportunities within African continent.
Fantastic place to leave it. Thank you so much to Amine, Timothy, and Victor for your insights during this brief but very engaging panel discussion. And I know for those of you who are joining us now, you're wondering, how exactly does this work? What's the tech behind Canon Academy Video? Well, we have
You're muted, Victoria. We lost you. You're not audible. Still not. I think it's about the mic. No, no.
Apologies for that. Can you hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay, when technology gets in the way, but we are good to go now. So thank you once again to the panel for a fantastic, insightful conversation. It was brief, but it was engaging. Now, I know a lot of you who are joining us now are wondering, so what is the Canon Academy video all about? What's the tech behind it? So we have our very own Simeon Quarry to take us through. Take a look.
My name is Simeon Quarry. I have the privilege of being one of the Canon Academy video trainers. I'm also the founder of Vivida, responsible for the technical development of this 3D interactive and immersive experience. I've had the privilege over a number of years as a former Canon ambassador of being able to work on the ground in areas throughout Africa, such as Ghana, Kenya, also Nigeria, working in a number of the film schools, being able to share knowledge and expertise from my own experiences building a production business and also filmmaking studios, and also develop that business expertise that has to come with that. So Canon wanted to find a way of making this information more accessible, not just to a few, but to the masses, and doing so in a way that's kind of really unique. And so with this in mind, we took inspiration from the technologies of virtual reality, and we developed a 3D interactive, immersive experience that allows viewers on their mobile devices, their laptops, their computers, to be able to immerse themselves and move through a 3D interactive film studio. To learn all about production, the processes that take place in production that range from the pre-production itself, the actual filmmaking process, but then also afterwards with post-production, helping people understand what equipment might be needed, for example, on set. And to do this, we've worked with our 3D developers, filmmakers, industry professionals to be able to bring this vision to life and enabling learners, yes, like me, to be able to increase our understanding and capabilities, your understanding and capabilities within the industry. But rather than it just being me, we have a number of industry professionals that have been featured in this experience, and you can find them in the Your Trainers section of the platform. And we know that people like to learn from credible professionals in the field. So what we have is a number of really insightful videos from these professionals as they share real life knowledge and expertise from the productions that they've worked on. And we created a platform that gives the learner the ability to move through this environment. But as you learn, it tracks your progress so that you can understand what information you have seen in the area that you're in, but you also understand how much information is still available to you throughout the entire platform. And we do that because we want to make sure that you've not missed any of the valuable video content that's contained within the platform, because we have hundreds of videos in more than one language. We also have in this platform a number of assessments. And this is great because as a learner, you'll be able to confirm the knowledge that you have as you progress through the platform, resulting ultimately in receiving your Canon Academy video certificates for each phase of the production process. And this is a great thing to be able to show to companies and organizations throughout the production industry, to show that you have a firm grasp and understanding of what's necessary as a storyteller, as a videographer in this modern filmmaking industry.
Fantastic. In the very words of Simeon Quarry, and just the brilliant minds who were behind creating Canon Academy video. Thank you once again to my wonderful panel. And that does it for this session. As you do know, the Canon Academy video is up and running. You can head over there. And even though it is a virtual space, it's extremely immersive. And we hope this one-of-a-kind interactive, immersive educational platform is what sells you on online education when it comes to the film industry here in Africa. Of course, the Canon team will be giving you all the information that you need in terms of questions, additional material that will help you better understand what Canon Academy video is all about. Thank you so much for your time. Let's do this again very soon. I'm Victoria Rubadiri. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Victoria, Timothy.
Bye, and see you soon in Kenya.
Reggie's, that's the directors, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all the others. Bye, everyone.
Victor, when are you visiting?